Hi, I'm Daniel, and this has been the source of a lot of pain for me over the last few weeks, and not the good type of pain. I've been struggling with some knee pain indoor cycling. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I have been able to 95% solve the problem. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how I did that, what things I did to try and get rid of my knee pain. Now, this is not a how-to. You should not take this as health advice. You should seek professional input if you do have any injuries, but I know that YouTube is a great free resource. I consume a lot of it for these sorts of things, so there might be something in here that helps you but might not. Now, the specific problem that I had was that I was getting knee pain on the indoor bike, but when I rode my other bike outside, it wasn't hurting, so I needed to do a bit of investigation, and there were 3 things that I changed which really helped me. It's hard to be sure which one of these changes actually made the difference because I changed them all up pretty close together, but I think they're all worth mentioning. So the first change that I made was with my footwear, was the shoes. Now, the main difference between these 2 pairs of shoes is that these ones absolutely stink and these ones don't. But there's another difference, and that is the cleat and pedal system that I was using. On the right here, I use these on the road. These have got Shimano cleats on. I use the Garmin Rally pedals on the road with a Shimano cleat. And then indoors, just because this is what I used a while ago, I've got the Look Keo cleats with Look Keo pedals. Different pedal system, different shoes, but I thought in my mind, well, they're similar, they feel the same, they're not going to cause me any problems. Perhaps they were the cause of a problem, perhaps they weren't. But what I did was I removed the Keo pedals off of my indoor bike, put some Shimano pedals on so that I could use the same shoes on the indoor bike as I do outside. That means that the pedal spindle is in exactly the same position when I'm riding on different bikes. The stack is exactly the same. All of those things are exactly the same. There's not a variable there that's going to be causing me any problems. The second action I did was I got a tape measure out, and I don't know why there's a measurement on 4 inches on this tape measure, but I'll roll with it. And I essentially measured my road bike in all dimensions and compared it to the indoor bike. I know I'll put a video up on this channel where I used boxes and other things as well as this, and it didn't look quite professional, and it wasn't, but it worked. I essentially made sure that my saddle fore and aft, so how far forward and backwards the saddle is, my saddle height, my reach from the saddle to the bars, all of those things were the same on my road bike that they were inside. That meant that the position was the same, and I shouldn't be putting any additional strain or different strain on my body when riding inside versus outside. When I did this, I did actually find some changes. The main difference was with my saddle fore and aft. I had my saddle much too far forward on this indoor bike than I did on my outdoor bike. Whether either one is optimal or not, I don't know, but on my road bike, I don't get any pain, and now I've put this in the same position in the hope that I don't get any pain. It might not be like the position for peak performance, but it seems to be the position for peak comfort at the middle. So get yourself a tape measure, get your bike next to your indoor bike and really try and set it up. Or if you're using the same bike, obviously absolutely perfect. The other change that I made involved buying several new parts. Who doesn't like that as a cyclist? And this is a crank set. Now, I've actually gone to 165mm cranks. I am 6 feet and 2 inches tall, and I used to ride on 175s. I know it's fashionable to go to 165 because Pogacar's doing it, but I actually went to these for my own reasons, and I'm actually really getting on with them. So this made 2 changes. Firstly, my pedal stroke doesn't go down as far, doesn't come up as far. So my knee angle at the top of the stroke isn't as tight, so I'm not bending my knee as much. Equally, when I'm at the bottom of the stroke, my knee is not as extended as it was previously. Now, when you do this, you've got options as to whether you change your saddle height or not. I didn't change it initially because my height then at the top of the pedal stroke was still a smaller angle, but I'd actually had a more space at the bottom, wasn't stretching as much. I ended up still raising my saddle by 10mm in line with this, which is what you should do if you're in an optimal position. And that's meant I'm a lot comfier on the bike now. I've essentially got the same reach at the bottom end without my knee coming up as high at the top end, and that for me I think was causing a lot of the discomfort, was that stretching of the knee, those tendons and ligaments across the front of the knee really getting stretched and worked 80 RPM times how many hours you're riding. So shorter cranks. Now I'm lucky that I do have a kicker bike which has adjustable crank lengths, and I was able to just remove my pedal and put it in the 165, so I could check that immediately. I know that not all indoor bikes have that set up, and if you've got a bike on a turbo you haven't got that set up, but you can definitely hunt around for cheap cranks. These ones aren't cheap, but the other one I got was a Rival Gen 1 or so. Basically get like last year's colour crank, and they're loads cheaper, and it's really worthwhile trialling out some shorter cranks. It's not just for the top tier pros, it's not just for a time trial bike, it does seem to be for general comfort, shorter crank seems to be the winner. Now, whilst those three things for me were the main things that I did on the bike to try and solve my knee pain, the way I think I've actually fixed it is off the bike. It's stretching, it's flexibility, it's strength work, it's seeing a professional, it's all those sorts of things. So I'd urge you to go and do that, but it is worthwhile giving these things a go. Sometimes if you catch it early enough, you're just not flaring up enough that you might just get over it and might just be able to keep training. So hopefully you are. If you've got any other tips, let me know in the comment section down below, and hopefully I'll see you out there soon.